It's time for Pod of the Dead.
Hello and welcome to Pod of the Dead. I'm your host Nicholas, and with me as always are the ladies Stephanie and Natasha.
Hi guys.
On today's episode, we are covering the 1988 horror, comedy, sci-fi movie, Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
Yes, we are.
Previous to homework for this week, were you girls aware of this film, or have you seen it or anything?
I had heard of it. I knew it existed, but that was really it. I knew there was a title, and I knew nothing else about it.
I'm kind of the same. Like, this was my pick for this week. So I see like as a Spirit Halloween having like Funkos of these, and like they have like all the things coming out around Halloween that is like about the Killer Klowns from Outer Space. So I was like, I want to see this movie, and I've never seen it, and it was a movie. It was interesting. So
this is one of Wesley's like favorite movies, period, end of discussion. Like, he was so hyped when we watched this for homework.
Every movie is his favorite movie, it seems.
No.
And then every food is his favorite food. He is like the biggest hype man on the planet.
Oh yeah,
and
he's Flava Flav of our house.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah, this is the greatest movie ever. And then next day he's watching something else and he's like, this is amazing. And then sometimes he's not like that, but yeah, he really likes this.
He just kept leaning over during this, like, oh, this is my favorite scene. I was like, dude, you have to chill out. Steph has never seen this.
Yeah, he wants to share. Wait. Yeah, he wants to share with me. He's like, what about when this happens? And Nick's like, shush, stop talking.
Wyatt's like that too.
But this is homework. She's not seen it. If she had seen it, it's fine, but she hasn't.
Yeah, no, he was so hyped up last night. It was so cute.
I'm not 100% sure the first time that I saw this film, but it must have. I think it was when maybe I was in high school or something around that. I did not see this young or anything like that.
Okay.
There's actually some like actual reasoning for that, and we'll find this out in the little overview kind of stuff and whatnot. Okay. But yeah, this was it just like appeared one day. I remember it wasn't something that like I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this movie or something like that. It was just like on a fucking TV somewhere, and I was like, what the hell am I watching? And I possibly could have been like extremely high. I don't know. It seems like something that would have been at Brendan and I's apartment playing, and just like nachos and weed everywhere, like because that was basically like what that house survived on. But I have a feeling that that's probably the first time I saw it. But I've seen this film a handful of times, and I don't know why I've seen it. I've seen this movie a lot, and I very rarely is it because I'm putting it on. It just keeps showing up in my life. It's just like, you just hear like the circus music, and you see like the old man at the circus tent at the beginning of the film. I'm just like, are we fucking watching this again? Okay, I'm down to watch this. All right, but I don't know how it fucking happens.
And then you find yourself just sitting down watching the rest of it.
Well, because I know that there's going to be like some cool parts in here, and I'm going to laugh here and there, and it does what it's supposed to do. I think
it does.
I straight up think it does what it's supposed to do. Whether
it's not supposed to be some cinematic genius masterpiece. It's cheesy and funny and ridiculous.
I would love to see a world where this is a cinematic masterpiece, and this was the
wins all the awards.
Yeah, the costumes are good though. So I mean, those are good. So
yeah. So, before we really get into this, Tasha, do you want to tell us what we're exactly talking about?
Yeah, it's a 1988 American science fiction horror comedy film, written, directed, and produced by the Chiodos brothers, and starring Grant Kramer, Suzanne Snyder, John Allen Nelson, and John Vernon. It is the only film written and directed by the Chiodo brothers, who also created the practical effects and makeup. It concerns a clan of evil extraterrestrials who resemble clowns. They arrive on Earth and invade a small town in order to capture, kill, and harvest the human inhabitants. to use as sustenance.
That's my favorite thing about this movie is that they're not clowns. They just happen to look like clowns. Their spaceship just happens to look like it's all that. Like that is what makes this movie for me.
I agree. I was watching it with Wyatt and I kept having to say the same thing. Like, no, they're just aliens that look like that's just what they look like.
Yep.
Because he kept going, why are they in clown costumes?
They're not. That's what they look like. Yeah.
Did he enjoy this film at all?
He loved it.
Okay, cool.
There was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of this is ridiculous.
Yeah, this movie is
he loved
batshit
it.
crazy.
Yeah.
So, this movie came out in 1988. What do you think its budget was?
Oh God.
The drum roll.
I know we suck at this.
Actually,
I
it
say
should
this every
just-
time.
I'm going to go super low and say,
All right.
at least in my head, super low, $75,000.
Okay. All right.
Damn.
Tasha's going really low. I'm gonna go 500,000.
This the budget for this movie was actually $2 million,
Good Lord.
and
Damn it.
the budget went primarily on production costs, so like camera and lighting and getting all your crew
Really?
and stuff like that. The clowns and visual effects were actually created almost entirely by the filmmakers at very little cost. Like this was all
Okay.
out of pocket for them and stuff like that. And previously, we'd said that this was made by the Chiodos brothers. If you're a millennial that was kind of like an emo kid or something, that name may
Hey, that's me.
it may be very familiar with you. There was a band that was formed in 2001 called Chiodos, which was originally known as the Chiodos Brothers. The band named themselves as a tribute to the filmmakers responsible for this film. So it was a specific naming, which doesn't make any sense with the sound of their music or anything, but they were just like, we fucking love this film. We're naming our band after this.
them. Yeah, that's some love.
And when you said last week that this movie was made by the Chiodos brothers, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That doesn't add up.
Yeah, they're out there like dun 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 dun, yeah, and stuff like that, and then just clown. Well, they're not clowns.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Aliens.
misrepresent them. They are aliens.
They're aliens. Yeah.
This might be. I can't remember. This might be our first alien film. We haven't even covered Alien. Wait, no, we did the thing. We did the thing. Never mind.
Yeah, but this is
We've done some like monster movies because I mean, like The Quiet Place and all of those have like beings.
alien.
Yeah.
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 But they're just not outwardly aliens.
Yeah. Well, this one has like they're more in the forefront in this one.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
They're the showcase.
They
of
can't
this.
help it.
Yeah, they are.
Oh.
So, on its $2 million budget, what do you think that this amazing film brought in?
Oh. I'm gonna guess this is one of those things where it's like it was a cult classic afterwards, so I didn't make
it's
shit.
it's the epitome of a cult classic.
Yeah, I'm gonna say $250,000.
Okay.
$500,000.
This movie was only shown in 3 theaters for one weekend.
Wow.
And it made a whopping $393.
Oh shit!
Why did it have such a
Okay.
low viewing?
So the original distributor, Transworld Entertainment, a small theatrical studio that mainly specialized in direct-to-video B-level horror and action films,
okay.
was initially supportive of the concept of the film and was going to put up like really good prints and like actually put like a good advertising campaign behind it and everything. They're like, yeah, we're going to do all this stuff. And then they literally just put it in 3 theaters in the middle of summer and just for a weekend and like did no advertisement and then just
For a
instantly pulled it.
weekend.
Yep.
That's sad.
It's
Yeah.
insane. So
much work.
what did end up happening though was so the small TWE is what it went by. They started like really going under and stuff like that. Let's see here. They had, well, one of the crazy things, they had no interest in like merchandising rights or anything like that. So in subsequent years, video rentals and late night cable showings found a small audience. And in 1993, TWE folded and MGM ended up buying the rights, like all the rights for the film.
Of everything they had, or just this movie?
The movie, the merchandising rights, everything. They bought
Okay.
the whole kit and caboodle. And in 2001, MGM asked the Chiodos brothers to do a DVD commentary for the film and its midnight movie releases. And the film eventually found a huge audience when MGM started putting it out in DVDs and stuff. So much so that the Halloween Horror Nights at Universal has a killer clown maze that you can go to.
Oh, cool.
So it definitely was like, I'm not going to say that like if this came out in 1988 and had a good marketing push that it would have been like massive, because it is such a niche film. Like it's so weird. Like I can't see a
the
world.
Gremlins is also weird too.
Not like this though. This is fucking strange. Like, cause at least the Gremlins are cute, you know?
You're trying to tell me these clowns aren't cute?
No.
I am 100% telling you that these.
Oh, that's so sad.
I'm not scared of clowns. There is one that literally just like walks around and looks like a pile of shit. Like he's just like real lumpy.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where it's like they're so grossly over accentuated and stuff. I can understand where people could like get nightmare fuel out of this at a young age because of how over accentuated and stuff it is. It doesn't really fuck with me that way or anything.
It doesn't do anything for me. Like it was just funny.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And the fact that they don't really talk is another added like creepy.
Yeah, it's all
they
just
make
like
noise. Yeah. Well, that's not true. He talks one time, but he talks through somebody else.
Oh yeah.
He does.
We won't get there.
It's not a spoiler. It's not really a spoiler. So it's fine.
$393. And I checked a lot of different places and I kept seeing that number and I was like, there's no fucking way. And then I later found out that there was a reason for it being, I was like, okay, that makes way more sense. I was just like,
I didn't see this movie until we got to, like, I didn't even know about it until we got together. Like because I didn't spend a lot of time at Spirit Halloween or paying attention to a lot of that stuff. And so like this is new to me, and it makes sense because like growing up, I don't remember seeing anything about this. So
growing up, I don't remember anything.
No, I don't. But definitely not this.
I had severe head trauma every year. I just don't remember anything.
That's right.
Oh, it's Christmas. Hit him with a hammer.
Do you by chance have a number, like a more specific number now that it has like a following?
You mean of like its gross like bring in and stuff? Because it has
over the years. Yeah,
I did see some numbers because it did have some like recent, like really recent, I want to say 2022 maybe, it did like another re-release kind of thing in theaters.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not 100% sure, but I did see some numbers and I want to say that it's also including its merchandising and stuff, but it says that that it's made like $20 to $30 million. So
Gotcha.
I'm guessing mostly that's from merchandising, because especially nowadays, Spirit Halloween, Hot Topic, all that stuff, it's fucking like literally the last just couple years, it is fucking everywhere.
Because I was looking up some stuff and it looked like there was a possible remake in 2020. Does that sound right?
Well, there was talks about a remake, but they actually are in pre-production or in production for a sequel that is written and directed by the Chiodos brothers as well. And I believe it's called The Return of the Killer Klowns from Outer Space. There's also a video game coming out this year that is basically one of those like Friday the 13th or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where it's like one person plays the bad guy and the others play the good guys, and you play online and they chase you around and kill you and whatnot. So it might be more team versus team kind of style, but yeah, I know that that's coming out this year, I think. And
okay, that might be what I was seeing then. Yeah,
but yeah, there have never been any this is definitely one of those things that, like, if the Chiodos brothers were not involved in it, it would not work the same way, because this is another one of those things where it's a creative group doing this, and it hits this really weird note, and if you're not those people, you're not going to be able to recreate that fucking weird little magic that you got.
Yeah.
I mean, it is weird. It's really weird.
I would almost say that this is like not weird and like, oh man, this is fucked up weird, but this is probably one of the like weirdest films that we've covered, in the sense of like, what the fuck, like how do you come to this conclusion? Like, we're gonna raise $2 million for this.
Yeah, Yep, it's just to see some crazy ass clowns do some crazy ass shit, basically.
Oh yeah, and like 1988 for horror was actually a pretty decent year. So like 1988 is the year that we get Child's Play. So our first introduction to Chucky comes out this year. We also get one of my personal faves, Beetlejuice, comes out in 1988. When it comes to like real deal horror, I mean Child's Play is, but like we get Nightmare on Elm Street 4, we get Night of the Demons, Hellraiser 2, Halloween 4, The Blob, Critters 2 comes out this year. So Critters is where the Chiodos brothers like are kind of, other than this movie, is where they're really known because they did all the special effects and stuff for the first 4 Critters movies. And they also did the special effects for what was it called? The Ernest Scared Stupid. Does anybody remember that?
Oh my gosh.
Yes. I remember that from my childhood.
Well, here's something that you probably didn't know about it. All the monsters in that film, for the most part, are just the killer clowns masks repainted.
Whoa. Nope, had no idea. That's awesome.
And then the stop motion animation stuff in the movie Elf, that's all them as well. Yeah.
Wow.
So they did a lot of stuff. They were like the puppet, like the head of the puppeteers and stuff for Team America, the puppet movie from the South Park guys.
Gosh.
America, fuck yeah.
Oh
so like that's what they're known for. That's what they're known for is like really weird kind of special effects, practical effects stuff.
Cool.
And and then this film was like, hey, let's just fucking throw everything at it, and it's crazy. It is such a crazy fucking movie.
It is.
But
I love that it's all them, like produced, directed, like it's like their labor of love instead of like doing stuff for other people. Like you can see how crazy they're allowed to like let themselves be.
well, and that's kind of like if we go back to like The Void was kind of like that too, where it's just like we really like this, and like they called in favors and people were just like, fuck yeah, this sounds crazy as hell, let's do this, and they just kind of start smacking shit together and it's like, this is what we're going to do. And for me, and it's not even that I know that stuff going into the film, obviously I don't do that kind of research before I see a movie, but like when you see a film and it's really cool, then you find that stuff out, it makes it more like that labor of love. You can tell that it's not just people like, all right, let's just make this fucking film. You can't make Killer Clowns from Outer Space and not fucking just be like on board. Like,
let's do it.
Yeah, this is going to fucking bomb. I don't care. I'm about to have some fucking fun.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, this is a movie club. We're gonna start to get into spoiler territory.
Yes, we are.
So, at the end of this episode, we're going to put up homework for the next episode. So you can watch it with us and come back next week and listen to that episode, and we'll talk about that film. But if you've seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space, you can follow after the spoiler warning and listen to us talk openly about it. If you haven't seen it, this is streaming on Amazon. That's how we ended up watching it. It's probably rentable elsewhere and stuff like that. You can usually find at least a DVD copy about anywhere anymore. Like it's pretty readily available in that sense. But if you don't want it spoiled, make sure to come back to the last like 5, 10, 15 minutes of the episode. That's when we throw out our homework. So then you can be on board for the next episode. So if this is your first episode, you picked a hell of an episode to check us out with. This would be our third pick for No Unsolicited Nick Pick March.
It just sounds so good.
It does. It just so rolls off the tongue.
Throw that shit on a shirt, you know?
Yes, please.
Everybody's
all
gonna,
the hyphens.
Yeah, everyone's going to look at it and be like, please take that off. You're upsetting the children.
And we'll say, you don't understand how important this month is to us.
This is right. It's right there. It's so close to my heart. So, I'm doing. This is a lot. No Unsolicited Nick Pick March does so much for the women in our community. That
Yeah,
is
well, it's women's. It's
YouTube.
been Women's Day this week or something.
Oh, yeah.
International
I think it's
Women's
today.
Day this
I think
week.
today is
it
National
today?
Women. Yeah, so
And I think March is National Women or Women's History
Women's month or something. Yeah,
This is-
see,
this
that's
is-
right. Yeah,
this is my
Yeah.
gift. This is my gift to the women
to
of the world.
women.
This is such a
Not having an opinion.
such a selfless act. Shower me with all the
Keeping
praise.
his trap shut. That's
Yeah.
his gift to the women.
No, that's not happening. There's no
that
gift to
too
be had
much?
there.
Sure.
Yeah, you really crossed the line. Back to the kitchen with you. But anyway, spoiler warning. Get the fuck out of here if you don't want it ruined. But there's not a lot of plot to this film.
no.
But we're getting ready to talk about Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
So if you want to be a part of our club, you can find us at facebook.com/podofthedead or else on Instagram at pod_of_the_dead or on TikTok at podofthedead. If you want to email us any questions, any complaints, or movie recommendations, you can email us at podofthedead666@gmail.com.
All right. Here we are,
This film.
Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Let's hear that 10 out of 10
Okay.
review for Killer Klowns.
I can't imagine anybody actually giving it a 10, but
Somebody did, and I'm about to tell
Somebody
you.
okay.
I just want to extend a big, all caps, thank you to MGM. I haven't seen this movie in years, and I've always wondered if it would ever make its way back to video. If you can't tell what Killer Klowns from Outer Space is about by the title, then this movie isn't for you.
Goddamn right. That's really, it's so on the nose.
Right. The plot is so outrageous that if you need to be a serious midnight movie fanatic to enjoy it, it's only appropriate that MGM has issued the DVD under their midnight movie banner. This is one fun movie, not particularly scary and not very gruesome, but hugely enjoyable. I've always been a little unsettled by Clown, parentheses, it really did them in for me. It's just
The movie.
in the movie. Yeah. And Killer Clown should seal the deal. Man. I've read a lot of reviews that compare Killer Klowns to the 50s B movies, especially the ones from American International Pictures, and I can say that I agree. Although I can't even see AIP coming up with the concept of alien clowns overtaking a quiet town by sealing all its residents up in cotton candy cocoons and shooting carnivorous popcorn from ray guns. All true.
It is true.
You'll be met with blank stares if you try and explain this film to anybody who's never seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I can't imagine being like, no. Hear me out.
Popcorn comes out of these guns and sticks to your clothes, and then after a while, it turns into these crazy little things.
So they've got this massive sweeper thing.
Yeah.
That
They sweep all the cocoons in. Yeah. Yep.
Their spaceship is a giant carnival tent. Okay. Pop a big bucket of popcorn, get yourself some cotton candy, and sit next to your friends in front of the TV and just let them take in Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Enjoy. My grade A+.
if this is if you're a horror comedy B film fan, there is not a film that I think fits that mold better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear that 1 out of 10. That person that has never had fun in their life. There's no way you can't this movie. Obviously, it can't be a 10 out of 10. It can't be a 1. But yeah,
but it can be a 10 out of 10.
You know what? I really hope it's a 1 out of 10. They say this pretentious film.
Well, it's funny because we went and watched this very cerebral, emotionally draining movie last week, and now we're watching this. This is it's
This is the epitome of a palate cleanser.
Yeah, this is a palate cleanser.
Yeah,
you can't do Hereditary 2 weeks in a row.
Good
I know.
God, no.
Okay, so how in the name of God did anyone back this movie financially? I mean, the way I see it, the people that backed this movie had to have just returned from some 4-day peyote bender. Better yet,
To each their own.
I know. Better yet, the financial backers of this movie must be the mob. That's the only thing that makes sense. They put up the cash for the worst script ever handed to another human being for some kind of front to hide some other shady business they are operating. Please tell me that this is the case. It will put my mind at ease after all these years of torment. I have sat here day in, day out trying to come up with some answer, some explanation of what this 2-hour waste of VHS tape.
It's not 2 hours.
It's not.
That's your
I
argument.
Get the fuck out of here.
What this 2-hour of VHS tape is, or this movie is, it actually takes a lot of effort and hard work to make a movie suck as bad as this.
Oh, wow.
I mean that. You would have to spend years of your life trying to make a movie that's as despicable as this. I feel ashamed of myself for ever viewing it.
Wow.
My advice is to the director is never make an attempt to make a movie. Never attempt to make a movie ever again. I am only trying to help.
Well, like Nick said, they didn't make another movie.
No, they didn't. They must have listened.
Yeah.
And let's be real, it's not about the plot.
No, it's not.
It's about the story.
This movie is this is super strange, but this movie is comparable in its what it's trying to do, I guess, as the Terrifier movies that have come out. So Art the Clown, which they are not in tone the same at all. But they're both created, directed, written, everything by special effects guys. So the Chiodos brothers want these like really crazy, grotesque, kind of over the top like bodysuits and stuff like that. And then like the Terrifier movies are insanely gory. So they're almost like resumes. They were made to be like, look at what we can do. So that's kind of like the only difference is that the Terrifier movies have been wildly successful because like there aren't a lot of
backing.
What's that?
Too. It's the backing too. Like they're going to be wildly successful because they have more backing.
They're independent
and
films.
the way media's gone, like you can find them on YouTube and stuff like that. Where when this came out,
there wasn't shit.
Yeah.
The Terrifier.
Like,
I'm not a Terrifier fan per se. I give him his flowers for doing what he's capable of doing and all that. But like, those are independent films, and they've blown up specifically just from word of mouth.
Yeah.
So the merchandising and stuff of that's went crazy. But it's funny that they're both like clown films. They're both like weird special effects resume films, and yeah,
if you think about it, there's not a whole lot. Like I'm just thinking aloud here, other than it, because like that's just a classic. But that was also created by another person. It wasn't like a special effects team creating it. It was created by an author. So, but if you think about it, like I can't think of like very many clown movies that are like at all.
I mean, there's like 4 clowns that come to mind. Well, 5. There are 5 clowns that come to 6. There are 6 clowns that come to mind. I'm just making a massive.
Is there 7? No.
There might be 7. So like I'll just kind of throw. So you got Pennywise from It, right?
That's the only one I can think of.
And then I think of like Art the Clown from the Terrifier movies because he's fucking everywhere.
Oh yeah, but I didn't watch that. So.
The Killer Clowns, like because they're so noticeable and everything. Shaggy, Too Dope, and Violent J from ICP.
So we're going out.
We're going to music.
Now. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Bozo the Clown.
Oh jeez.
There was another one I forgot. So
Was there a clown in Slipknot?
Oh yeah, there you go, Clown from Slipknot. There we go. There's
Clown from Slipknot.
Yeah, his name's like Sean Carahan or something like that.
But
he goes by
movies. Clown. Yeah, I'm talking movies.
Are you telling me that the Insane Clown Posse isn't a movie? They've got movies. They've got 2 movies.
Do they?
Yes, they do. One of them's a Western.
Oh my god. I watched a documentary about Juggalos once, but that's as close as I've gotten to a movie about
I'm not a fan of their music, but I am a fan of them. They're actually like really good for like their community and stuff like that. But
oh really?
Yeah. I'm pro Juggalo, just don't really care for their music.
All right.
if you guys want us to cover an ICP movie,
Jesus, no, please.
hit us up on podofthedead666@gmail.com.
No.
If we get enough listener response.
Oh my god.
Noelle would actually probably be like, yes, let's watch this. She freaking loves them.
They're not even horror films, but maybe for like April Fool's Day sometime we'll do an ICP film.
Oh my god, what is this coming to?
Oh gosh.
Hey, let the people speak.
Yes.
But yeah, all right.
They're a podcast for the people.
For the people.
By the people.
For no people.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So anyway.
Okay. I don't even know how we're supposed to talk about this movie. It has clowns. It has I have to say, when this movie started, Wes told me, he's like, it's really sad at the beginning. And I was like, oh shit, I'm waiting for something. The dog is taken. And I'm like, that ain't sad, but I can understand where a kid would think that's really sad.
Yeah.
And then honestly, I expected this movie to have worse effects because of its age and because I was like, these clowns aren't going to blink. Their mouths aren't going to open. I figured they weren't going to have a lot of different aspects.
Just
but they
straight
did.
up rubber masks is what you thought. No, they're full. They're like full animatronic
full.
masks.
I know. I know. I was so impressed by that.
Like their ears even move.
I know. And their fingers, they don't even have 5 fingers. They have 3 or 4 fingers. 3 fingers, I think. 4 fingers. Their hands are weird. And
I love also their lips and their teeth. They can move their lips away from their teeth and shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much little bits and bobs in there. It's crazy.
So the only thing I thought was weird about it is we're watching it and they're wrapping all these people up in cocoons of cotton candy. They are I was like, well, are they just suffocating in there? Are they dead? But when they peel stuff off of them, they're dead in these cocoons, right? That's what we're supposed to understand.
Yeah.
And so they can't be saved. So this isn't one of those things where they can come in and save people. But and then when they came in with the silly straw and he stuffs it into the cocoon and he's drinking its juices, I was like, what the fuck?
The silly straw was such a cool touch. That was my favorite part. Not necessarily specifically the silly straw, but all those little details, like the balloon dog.
Yeah,
yes,
I love
that
the
was
balloon
so
dog.
cute.
He builds him and it's pulling. It's we gotta fucking follow the dog.
So cool. They thought of everything.
Yeah,
the silly straw
rad.
Just took it over the top.
Yes, it was ridiculous.
Wesley's favorite part, he was grabbing my shoulder. He's like, "This is it. This is my favorite part." Is the shadow puppet scene?
That's my favorite too.
Because he's doing all these things. You see Washington going over the Delaware and stuff, and then he fucking eats a group of people
as a dinosaur.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane that this film, technically, it's weird that this film is PG-13 because if you really think about it, the kill count in this film is over 40 people because of all the people that get got. Somebody gets their head legitimately punched off.
I know. That was awesome. And it gets your basketball shot into a freaking trash can. It was amazing.
Yeah,
so what was your favorite way to kill? What was your favorite kill in the movie?
My favorite kill? I really like, what are you going to do? Knock my block off? And he literally punches his head off. And it's literally just a perfectly clean cut of the neck flies into the trash can. And then everyone's like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite kill in the film.
Mine is the cop that gets killed by pie.
Gets melted to death.
It's the best. He just keeps throwing pies at him. If I had to go, that's how I would want to go.
By pie. Yeah.
And then a cherry. The guy just walks by and wants a cherry on top.
Hell yeah. How about you, Steph?
Oh, I like the dinosaur scene. That was the best kill, I think, just because it was the most imaginative. But yeah, all of it was good. And then the ventriloquism, that one took me completely out of it. I did not expect that.
That's legit the only creepy scene in the film. It really
is. He's sitting there, and I'm like, "Are we doing what I think we're doing?" And yes, we are doing what I think we're doing. And he's just talking. That's the only time we hear them talk, though, too.
And that's my favorite character in the movie is Officer Mooney, the old officer. He's such an asshole.
He is.
And it's super funny too because when Dave leaves with Officer Dave leaves with Mike and Debbie to investigate their story about the alien clowns, Mooney legit says, "Go ahead, Dave, make a dummy out of yourself, and you're not gonna make a dummy out of me." And the motherfucker gets turned into a ventriloquist dummy. But I just love how he's just so fucking angry from the word go. It's like,
Yes.
like there's like a couple punk kids that had a bottle of wine. He's like, you're ruining this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Get your ass in there. Just like beating the shit out of
And
kids.
he's like, I'm not reading your rights to you. And I was like, dude, what is wrong with you?
You're
And
in
he's
my
like,
jail, boy.
yeah. And then he's like taking a shot of whiskey, sitting down. Like, I'm just like, what is going on here? Yeah.
All the phone calls are coming in. He's just like,
Yeah.
these ice cream boys got everybody in on it. Fuck you. Because he didn't drop that. He's just like, they can go fuck themselves. I'm just like, get it, Mooney. Fuck those kids.
Yeah. He thinks they're all out to get him. And that this is like some bullshit until the clown comes in and, he learns.
Well, even then, he's like, turned around. And he like fucking puts the handcuffs on him. And that dude just kind of dancing around and stuff. Goes to like force him around and stuff, rips his hands off. Clown pops up some new hands. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
I know.
But yeah, this I 100% understand what you're saying, Steph. It's like, what is there to say? Like the plot of the movie is that these aliens show up, they start collecting people.
Yeah, to eat them like you would expect any alien movie to have.
Mike and Debbie see it happen. Now, mind you, does anybody remember the TV show Titus that was on Fox like in the early 90s? Or the late 90s? The red glasses guy at the beginning that is like at the makeout point and stuff, and then they end up going to the car that's covered in cotton candy and they find the glasses. That's Christopher Titus from Titus. He's the lead of
his
that.
first role?
Something like that. Every time I've seen this, I was just like, that guy looks familiar, and I looked it up. That's who it fucking is. Christopher Titus, the comedian. So who fucking they fucking, it's so weird. The fucking movie has like a really weird similarity to the 1958 Blob, because it basically starts out very similar to where an old guy like in a kind of like cabin or whatever with his dog go, and they're like, what's this thing going on here? And they just like run down like, oh, I don't know what's going on, Pooh Bear. Just nonstop. That dude makes me laugh every fucking time because he literally goes, what in tarnations is going on?
And I couldn't help but think about the dog having that voice from the Fox and the Hound. Like that's exactly where my mind went. It wasn't the guy talking.
It's so fucking weird. I'm sorry, listeners. I don't know how long this episode is going to be because there's really not a lot.
No, it's just you have to watch it to see to really know, because like honestly, like even like it's so imaginative in a lot of ways, but there's no real plot to this movie. There really isn't, other than surviving. It's literally trying to stay alive when some fucking clowns come and they decide they're going to kill everybody, and you just don't want to get got. And like that's pretty much it.
It's literally like every scene for the most part. So like the whole film is basically just like Mike and Debbie and Dave like driving around like, oh no, and Mooney just being angry. Yeah. And then it's just every time you see the clowns, it's just another set piece of like, here's a gag, here's a visual gag, here's a clown at the drugstore and like fucking smashing through everything. Here's a clown. Like it's always just here. There's another creepy scene. So there's the scene with Mooney as the puppet. The other creepy scene is at Big Top Burger when there's like a little girl and he's standing outside doing like the finger, like come here, and he's got the big fucking hammer behind his back. So fucking crazy. But
and then she gets stopped by her mom because she needs to finish her food.
I want to see that kid get splattered.
But then, oh my gosh, no! The mom, she doesn't even pay attention to the clown that's standing there. I'm just like, that in itself was kind of like, she should have been like backing away in fear or like what?
Nope.
Like
nobody's scared of clowns
she's
here.
Not apparently not.
No.
But yeah,
no big deal.
Yeah, and then like I really liked the inside of the ship. I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah,
like
the inside
all
of
the rooms
crazy.
We got to see. Yeah, and like it definitely feels like a fun house. Like it has all those feels. And then when the guys fall into that ball pit, now we have 2 girl aliens. I thought
and
that
the
was
one's
funny.
boobs just keep getting bigger.
And it seemed like a lot of that stuff was made out of cardboard. It seemed very DIY, which I loved.
Yeah,
like on the side of the car that was parked outside of the spaceship, it looked like the black buttons on the side were like spray painted cardboard bowls.
Yeah.
Like everything looked very arts and crafts, which was great. It had a old Willy Wonka vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. It does have a very it did have a very crazy like Willy Wonka vibe.
Yeah, it's a movie. Like I said, I really don't know else. Like I don't even know if I can be like, who's your favorite character? Like
Mooney.
I like it.
Mooney. It's always Mooney.
Yours
Mooney is the best character in the movie. End of discussion. There's no argument to be had.
I would just say the aliens.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, the clown. Like, is there a certain clown that you like?
I don't think so.
Because I mean, they all do the same stuff.
Collective, yeah.
But like, what one? Like mine. Like my favorite one is specifically the small one that's riding the bike because he's the one that also then punches the head off. Mm-hmm. So, but like, it's basically like, which one's your favorite makeup or your favorite like get up or whatever.
There's just a lot of them. And then at the end, the only thing I didn't like about this movie, and we talked about this a little bit last night, was that at the end, it was like the boss, like Wes called it the boss of the show, you know, like the coming down. Yeah. And I just kind of, I understood like the necessity behind it, but I was kind of like, meh, I liked all the other parts better, but I mean, it was cool looking, but it was like, we already got we got a guy melted by pie. I mean, that was cool. And then like all of them fitting into their clown car and like all those cool little unique things. And then I do think it like definitely fit into that PG-13 feel when like almost everybody that was important in the plot survived. That was a good person.
Yeah.
Mm. So that was the only thing I was kind of like,
Clownzilla there at the end originally was supposed to be stop motion animation, but due to production costs and stuff, they just made a suit instead. And it's actually one of the Chiodos brothers that is in the suit. And
okay.
Like, yeah, it's really weird because like it's just a bunch of fucking aliens that happen to look like clowns. Mm-hmm. And shit happens. They end up on the spaceship. And yeah, the spaceship has this really unsettling thing for me because it feels legitimately like a like late 80s early 90s neon nightmare that I probably had as a child because there's so much weird funhouse stuff. But yeah, like it's not that it's like scary, but it like does something in the back of my brain that's like very unsettling when they're running through there and there's all this weird patterns and like the color grading is really, it's so neon. But yeah, like,
and there really isn't like shading to the colors. They're just they're just bright and harsh and solid.
Yes, it's almost like the Tick right here behind me. Just fucking blam. So
I keep trying to look up. I wish I knew how long it took to make one of those suits because there were 40 different clowns in that. So that's 40 different costumes.
That's fucking nuts. Yeah, because like you usually like there's like the 5. I think it's 5 is like the core group that you see. But then there are like big sets like scenes and stuff where there's just a fuck ton of them. Yeah, and if you go like out in California, they have like their own like production or their special effects studio, the Chiodos brothers do. And I guess one of the first things you see when you walk in there is a full done like fucking killer clown like get up.
That's
like
cool.
just
That's
right
cool.
as you walk in. So, that'd be dope. Like I would straight up be like, can I kiss it?
What about my picture like with my arm around it?
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. It's like I don't think that this film is necessarily like only horror fans like it and they found it, or it's such a weird, it fits like kind of like you said, like Willy Wonka, right? The first like Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure, it's kind of in there where it's just like, it's got some stuff that could like creep you out a little bit as a kid, like Large Marge in that film, like fucked up a lot of people and stuff like that. So like, it's just that really, they don't make films like this anymore. It's just weird.
It's silly.
Yeah. And it's always like these really weird, because like when I think of movies like this, and this isn't, I don't think they're similar in any capacity. I think of like The Labyrinth and like how that stuff's just very different. You don't see a lot of movies made like that anymore. I think the 80s, maybe early 90s definitely had like its own specific touch. Cause I think like what Pee-wee's Playhouse came out in like the 80s and like, And I know The Labyrinth came out in like 1985 or 86. So like all of those movies, and Willy Wonka's older than that. I think that's the 70s.
In the 70s.
The 70s.
But yeah, they have like that. It's just a different feel than what we get now.
To me, it's that steadfast fucking heels in going, no, we like making costumes. We like making rubber masks. We like stop motion animation. And there's something to that, like that is undeniable. Like I am so much like CGI, unless it is a massive big budget film, like a Marvel film or like Dune and Star Wars and all that stuff. Obviously you can't pull
Avatar.
We're not talking about that. But no, like it makes sense. Like even like, yes, Avatar. But like, yeah, like at that point, like it's so vast. Like it's just not even fathomable to try and do it. Like realistically.
You couldn't do it in a lot of those things.
But something like even like Beetlejuice that came out this year. So much of that is practical. So much of that is practical and stuff like that. So like that's where my love of that kind of like I would rather it look shitty but be made in camera than look really good but the movie sucks. Like that I would much rather that.
I had that conversation with Y actually, because when the movie started, he talked about, oh, this is an old movie, so the graphics don't look good. So I had to explain to him, like, dude, no, this is all handmade. And he, like his eyes lit up like, whoa, really? And yeah, like through this podcast, like a lot of these movies that have practical effects I wouldn't have watched on my own, but having to watch them for homework, I'm really finding an appreciation for that talent. And it's funny that you mentioned Dune. I watched Dune Part 1 soon after watching Killer Klowns, and I was sitting there with Drew, and like Dune is a beautiful movie.
Yes.
We'll just say that. But I almost felt cheated because so much of that is CGI. Correct. After watching something that is so practical. Yes. You almost feel like it's just not the same.
They're not even close to the same. And it's one of those things of like you were saying, arts and crafts, right? There's like, you can't really compare computer programming. Right. That is an art. That is an art. Right. CG is an art, right? But you can't compare that to somebody like, even though you're doing 3D render sculpting on a computer and you're doing sculpting with clay and plaster and silicone and stuff to make this stuff, the end all be all is a visual medium that can be compared, but the artistry going into it are different. Like there's a physical and there's like I don't even know what you would call it, like, because they're both mental, they're both technical, but they just go down different streets for different things, and they can both be appreciated, but I don't think you can really compare them.
Yeah, I agree.
And my biggest thing is, what ages better? A fucking realistic practical effect will always age better than CG. And what I always point this out to is Lord of the Rings looks better than the Hobbit films, because the Hobbit films are so much CG and it's already aged. The Lord of the Rings does do some CG, but they have so much practical in those and they still fucking look great. So like, you are always like, as much as I love Dune, I fucking love those movies. I'm actually like almost done with the first book. I'll be done probably Monday.
Oh.
So yeah, like I've been like, I need to know everything, and then I'm going to go on to all the books. Well, not all.
He's showing me all the TikTok videos. And sharing. Yes, he's going down that rabbit hole.
I love it. I just love it. I love it so much. Anyway, those movies though, like in like 5-10 years, because of how fast, like computer graphics move, they're going to age. It's going to be aged. Because even watching, like we just went and saw like a week ago or whatever, we just saw Dune 2 in theaters, and I was like jaw dropped, like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I went back and rewatched the first one, and instantly I was just like, oh, I can tell that doesn't look as good.
Wow,
that doesn't look
really?
as good. Yeah, and that's just me because I'm a douchebag and I'm hypercritical, especially because of this podcast.
And you watch them back to back. So you watched the brand new one and then compared it to one that's 3 years old. So that makes sense.
Long and short, though, real quick, Tasha, you said you watched the first one?
I did.
Okay, you have to see the second one in theaters before it's out of theaters. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I want to. And like I was telling Drew, I don't think I would ever have wanted to watch part 1 in theaters purely because you don't get a good, it doesn't satisfy. You don't get an ending.
Well, because
so
part
the
1
second one I probably could.
It's all one book. So the first 2 are the first book. So anyway, we're not talking about Dune. This is not the Dune cast. If you want the Dune cast, last podcast on the left has done an entire deep dive series on the entire Dune series. It's crazy. I like listening to that too. Anyway, Killer Clowns.
One more thing about Dune.
Okay, go ahead.
One more thing.
I'm never going to tell someone to shut up about Dune.
Is the book as slow as what reviews have said it is?
The book is completely
I've
different.
Heard
it's more of a political intrigue, like think Game of Thrones, where the movies are like these big bombastic like action scenes. Those action scenes, for the most part, are very like maybe a paragraph or 2.
Gotcha. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So like, it's not even like descriptive.
It is, but nowhere. It's
gotcha.
Not to go into. We can talk off mic about that. But it's not the same. Yeah, it's great though. They're both good for their own things. It's definitely like if you like the movies, read the book because it's going to give you a lot more insight and you'll appreciate and enjoy it more.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I just heard that the book was like a historical read, like an historical book. Okay,
I don't think so. Anyway,
Killer Clowns.
Killer Clowns from Dune. No.
Yeah.
But they're supposed to be making a new one or a sequel. And Mike from the first one, our boyfriend in the sweater, I guess he's like a producer on it and everything too. So like I don't know if it's going to be like, 30 years later or whatever. The same kind of people, or if it's just going to be they hit up a new area or whatever. But if this actually gets, I'm going to guess since they own the rights, it's going to be from MGM. And if it's the Chiodos brothers with MGM's money, it could be fucking batshit crazy because like there'll probably be, because it's 2024, there'll probably be some CGI and shit, but that those guys are going to be like, no, we are going to go practical all fucking day. And they'll clean up strings and stuff with CG, but they'll go real fucking hard with it. And that makes me more excited because it's not that this is like my favorite film or even close to that, but the love for practical effects that you can see in this film. And then if they're going to bring something like that back now, I'm there for that day one.
And give it more than a weekend in theaters.
In 3 theaters.
Cool yeah.
And
we could actually see it in theaters.
It was probably like some small town in Nebraska, somewhere in Delaware, and then like the last day this one theater in a dying town like that weekend. Like I can't
to only make $300. Yeah.
I would be so pissed if I was a producer for this film. Put up all the producers and shit put up $2 million for this. They got this distribution rights and everything, and they're just like, yeah, no, we got this. 3 theaters, 1 weekend.
It's like they just completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. Does anyone have any openings?
Yeah. We got this film. It's called what? What is this? The fuck is this movie called? It's called Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Jim. I don't tell them that. But
I would love for drive-ins to bring this up.
Oh,
over the summer. Yeah. I think this would do amazing in drive-in.
I agree.
We need to just start our own drive-in.
Okay.
But okay, so 1988, right? Like we talked about the horror films and stuff that came out that year. But so this year is pretty fucking crazy though for the films that came out in general. So I'll give you a rundown of the top 10 films grossing for that year. So my beloved Beetlejuice comes in at 10.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Cocktail with T. Crizzle, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Where they're bartenders.
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen that.
Yep.
Moonstruck, which is a Bruce Willis romantic comedy kind of film.
Oh. Okay.
What?
Motherfucking Die Hard came out this year.
Oh, yeah.
Motherfucking Die Hard.
3 Men and a Baby.
Oh, man, this is a big hitting year.
That was so cute.
Crocodile Dundee 2.
Oh, my gosh.
Tom Hanks is Big.
Oh, that movie's awesome. Yeah.
It's a good year.
Yeah.
Good Morning Vietnam with
Yeah.
Robin Williams.
Okay.
Coming to America with Eddie
Oh,
Murphy.
damn.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the number one film that came out this year was Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, yay. That movie was awesome.
I fucking love that movie.
I love that movie too. That's
It's
so good.
so good. But yeah,
I can't believe that was number one for that year. That's amazing.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit made $156 million, almost
Oh my
156 and a half mil.
Yeah.
And then Killer
that was
Clowns from
so
Outer
good.
Space didn't even make $400. And which one's better? Okay, you tell me. You tell me.
Sorry, it's still Who Framed
Who Framed
Oh, man.
Roger Rabbit v Killer Clowns from Outer Space? I'm there for that
There
film.
you go.
Day one. Day
That's
one.
the new
Yeah.
one.
Day one,
Yeah.
baby. Throw in Tom Hanks and Big in there a little bit, you know, like
Yeah.
I
with the
love that movie.
Was
It
it
is so good.
Zoltar.
Zoltar,
Yeah.
the fucking
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll give it fucking little Die Hard in the mix. We got 1988's got it all day long, baby.
Solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Always-
everything went to shit the next year. 1989,
Oh, really?
worst year ever on date. August 17th, it just
Shut
all
your
went,
goddamn mouth.
it all went
I was
downhill.
curious, and now I see where you're going with this.
That was Tasha's birthday. That's when she was born.
Day of my birth.
That's where my life took a hard left turn. Wait. What is this? This isn't a dog.
She's not going away.
Yeah. Can we just put her outside? Could this be my outside sister?
My outside sister.
But anyway. All
Look at you,
right.
man.
So, love you too. So, all right. I think that's all we got really to say about
Yeah.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Like,
It wasn't a whole lot.
I highly suggest if you have not seen this film and you're
Great
still
movie.
listening to us, go fucking watch it. At least
Yeah.
check it off your board because you're seeing it all over the place, especially nowadays. In like, it really had a pop culture like
A big one.
renaissance, like or resurgence rather.
Yeah.
So do yourself a favor. It's only an hour and a half. Don't take it so seriously. Just know that you're in for a
No
shit
plot.
show. Yep.
And
Right.
some interesting ridiculousness. Yes.
I'm definitely reaching out to my local drive-ins to see if they can get it.
oh, hell yeah. You tell me if that happens and we will all show up.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be
Fuck
there.
yeah. That'll be a good time. I'm a snuggle. I'm gonna smuggle. I'm gonna snuggle in some drinks.
Dude.
But yeah. So, you girls ready to get into our review territory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll just start up and get it out of the way. So,
Okay.
like I said, I think the first time I saw this was in a haze of smoking weed and eating nachos, which I think is probably the proper way to ingest this film for its
Yeah.
peak potential. Like to
Probably.
really get into the like see through what they really mean,
To
man.
get the meaning.
Dude, Mooney, man. But yeah, like you okay over there, Tasha?
I just know nobody that sounds like that when they're stoned.
Oh, come on, man. But I'd be mad if I was a policeman too, man. But no.
Oh my god, continue.
I love the special effects in this film. I'm not going to like overrate this film though. Because this isn't, like I said, this isn't a film that I am going to just be like, I want to watch Killer Clowns. Put on Killer Clowns or I will fucking kill you. That's not going to happen. There are films like that though. But all that being said, like it's a fucking cool movie. It's definitely its own little thing. I am going to watch this again. It fits a really weird niche and everything. There is no other film that is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I would love to see this in a drive-in, like Tasha's saying. I'd like it double featured with Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That's what I want now in my life is Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And I want to be able to eat pizza and pie and have a good time with it. All that being said, I'm going to give Killer Clowns from Outer Space a 6.5 purely on fun. If this film was like, and I don't go into I didn't go into this going like, oh, this is going to be a fun movie. I was like, all right, I've seen this before. It's not going to hold up or anything. I was still I was still laughing. I was still like, holy shit, this is insane. For that, it gets a 6.5.
Fair. All right, Tasha, what do you got?
For everything that Nick said. Also, I want to piggyback on Nick. Around me, there is a back to the drive-in comment. There's a drive-in that plays purely classics.
Okay.
So this might actually happen. Fingers crossed. I don't even know if they have like Killer Klowns on like the actual reel or how they even play films anymore. But
hey, you know what?
I really want this to become.
You get a hold of them and stuff and tell them that you run a podcast and be like, hey, our podcast would love. We can try to fucking smash something together and do something with them.
Do like live on scene.
Fuck yeah, that'd be awesome.
Anyway, so this is a really fun movie. Wyatt really liked it, which is kind of saying a lot about the movie that an 8-year-old enjoyed it. Yeah, it's not one that I don't think I would necessarily put on, but if it was on, I would totally watch it. I would watch it again. It's fun. It's endearing. It's silly. I'm going to give it a 6.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, yeah. And I don't have anything to add at all. Like it's a aliens and that look like clowns. And
is this your favorite alien movie?
No.
Yes.
Oh. Is it, Tasha? Your favorite alien movie?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'm not a big Alien fan.
Oh.
Like Aliens, all of those. This one is definitely up there. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say that I'm sticking with my rating I had last night. So talking about it always gives me in that like area where I'm like, well, maybe I want to rate it higher, maybe I want to rate it lower, but I'm just giving it what I gave it last night. So I'm gonna give this a 5.5. I think it's a movie I would rewatch. It's not a movie I'm ever going to love, but I am going to appreciate, and I don't hate it. I think it's if it was below a 5, I definitely would never rewatch it. So I think it's definitely in that realm, and yeah, it does what it's supposed to do. I always look for movies with a little bit more plot and understanding.
There's barely a plot.
Yeah,
and that's really the biggest deleter is there's just no plot.
There's no reason, no nothing. Yeah, it's just kind of just there.
I think if the film was like, I don't want to say like more well thought out, because it's fucking thought out. There is a lot of thought in here, but like I think realistically, if like there was just a little more going on when it comes to the humans and stuff, and like because there's like the big chase scene in the spaceship at the end, which is like really good. The rest of it is just like, here's another scene of it happening, here's another scene of it happening. If it was more cohesive and stuff like that, it would work better. And you know what, they're making a sequel, like I said, maybe like with that kind of stuff, it's going to be a more fleshed out kind of thing, and we're still going to get the weird hijinks of the film. Yeah,
maybe. Like I said, it does what it's supposed to. It was cute. I'm glad that I recommended us watching it just because I hadn't seen it before, and it was
get to check it off the box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's it.
So what's that give us, Tasha?
That gives us a 60.
A 60?
Which sounds low, but with the caveat of it's still a good movie.
Well, yeah, because like realistically, okay, you can't suggest this film for everybody.
No,
you're more if you're in the mood for this kind of film, you're more than likely going to have fun with it if you know what you're in for. Like if you're going, like if you're a big snob or whatever and don't want to have fun, you're not going to have fun. You have to go into this being like, this is going to be stupid in the best possible way. Like this is the embodiment of a B horror film.
Yes.
It's so outlandish. It's so overacted. It's so ridiculous. You get, like I said, you get like shadow puppets. Well, you even get the one where it's like a little puppet stage and everything, and then the clown comes bursting out of the little stage. It's so over the top. Yeah. But it's always just set piece, but with like almost no cohesive narrative other than they're here, deal with it.
That's true. And then it's like this weird like love triangle kind of like with the humans a little bit with like the ex and the current boyfriend, and then the tension between them, and like I didn't feel like that was necessary, and like there's just little bits and pieces of that, and then like how the one guy dies from like being piled on with pie, but then they get pie thrown at them and nothing happens to them. So like it was just like these like loosely rules kind of stuff, but it was fine. Like that didn't bother me. It was just,
because the movie, like, it's one of those things where it's not trying to be serious, so you don't go like, well, I could hear the boards, because that's my thing. It was like, this movie's not trying to be A Quiet Place. It literally is just like, hey, here's some guys in an ice cream truck driving around being weird as fuck, and shoot this fucking movie. We got some rubber suits, go.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Well, yeah. So yeah, 60. You're more than likely gonna like this. The people that aren't gonna like it would have never liked it to begin with. Like, the name would have told them they didn't want it in for it. But like,
if you don't like Evil Dead 2, you wouldn't like this probably. Because Evil Dead 2 feels like, to me, in the terms of like ridiculousness and like, even though I like Evil Dead 2 better, I think that it's kind of in the same vein. Like, it's just over the top acting. That one has a little bit more plot than this one does, but like, yeah, it's just crazy.
They're goofy. It's like goofy. Yeah. It's almost like what was it, like the Three Stooges? It's just kind of really fucking like, what the fuck is going on? So, but
in a darker theme.
Yeah. So that's our take on Killer Klowns from Outer Space. So now we're going to go into our final movie for No Unsolicited Nick Pick. March.
I'm so sad it's almost over.
It is almost over.
And are we going to talk about the things that we got into this week?
Yeah, we can. I'll throw out what's for homework, and then we can talk about what we got into this week.
Okay.
So homework for the next episode is a Tasha pick.
Yep.
Yes.
I have never seen this film. Stephanie has never seen this film. And we are going to be watching Infinity Pool.
Okay.
All that I know about this film is it's got Alexander Skarsgård, it's got Mia Goth,
okay,
and I think it's Brandon Cronenberg. It's David Cronenberg's son, so the guy that did The Fly and stuff like that. It's his son is the director of it, and I think it's Brandon. But
okay,
I own this. I've seen his previous film Possessor, which is an absolutely insane, like, sci-fi kind of horror film. It's fucking nuts. So I know what he's capable of. So I know that this movie's gonna be fucking weird.
When I hear Infinity Pool, all I think of is Deadpool. So I'm like, I gotta take my head out
stop
of that.
thinking of that.
I'm gonna try, because like that's the first thing when it's like Infinity Pool, Deadpool. No. So
now, when it comes to streaming this film, I'm not 100% sure if it's on any streaming services other than like Showtime or something like that. But you might have to rent this to see it. But
yeah, it's on Hulu if you have a subscription, and then everywhere else it's $3.99 on all other platforms.
But this is also, this film came out like last year, 2 years ago. Yeah, so it's a pretty new movie. So if you bust it out for $4, I mean, like, you're at least getting something new. It's not like you're spending $4 on a film that came out forever ago that you could probably get on DVD for the same price, you know? So
like the Evil Dead too.
Yeah,
I had to buy.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that you had to rent the Evil Dead.
So many movies. I think Buffy I also had to rent.
Well, I bought that on Blu-ray because I thought it was going to be like my childhood revisited, and that motherfucker got sent back. We don't speak
you'll at
of
least
Buffy.
You'll at least get a good time for $4 with this, I hope.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. So to kind of go back though, Tasha, since you brought up Hereditary for this month, is Infinity Pool gonna wreck Stephanie or I emotionally? Oh no!
Fuck, Tasha. Christ. I'm over here like being nice, like, hey, let's watch Killer Klowns from Outer Space, and Tasha's like, let's throw you in the fucking deep end.
Possibly. There are some scenes. It's a messed up movie. But
I have a movie for you. It's called Relive Trauma.
Yes.
I had to hard pivot from Oculus and Strangers and
Hush.
the other one and Hush. So it's like, I do like good movies.
No, it has nothing to do with good, bad, or anything like that. My whole thing, I literally thought you were just gonna be like, yeah, no, it's not like Hereditary, and then you're like, oh well.
I mean, it's not like Hereditary, but it's also not
It's heavy. It's not Killer Klowns.
Right. It's not easily digestible. It's weird. And that's all I'm going to say.
Cool. Okay. I'm excited to watch it because, like I said, I bought it after watching Possessor, buying Possessor. So I was like, I want to see other films that he's done. He's only done the 2. So it's like, all right, I'm going to check this out. And then it just hadn't happened. Then once you threw it up on the list of stuff to pick through, I was just like, we'll throw that on there. It gives me a reason to watch it.
Mm-hmm. So. How do you feel about dropping the In a Nutshell from Google? Have you ever seen those?
What are you talking about?
So, like, when you Google a movie...
My brain, what?
I look at this all the time. So when you Google a movie, one side of it will give, like, the IMDb, like, score, the percentage, where to watch, and then In a Nutshell. And then underneath that, it gives you the synopsis.
I've never even paid attention to that. I don't pay attention to Google. I go to websites.
This is where I start.
Okay, go ahead. You're fine.
Do you want 3 adjectives? I'll give you 3 adjectives to describe this movie.
Sure. Okay.
Ominous, hedonistic, and suspenseful.
Okay.
I like hedonistic.
Yeah. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I hope it doesn't wreck you.
Okay.
I honestly don't think there is a film more tailor-made to wreck stuff than Hereditary.
Right.
There can't be.
I don't even know.
If they did, if there is a film, they know her and they've got some problem with her and they made a movie.
Yeah.
They read my book,
Steph.
Yeah.
It's called God Damn It.
Yeah. You're not wrong. Yeah.
But yeah, what did anybody watch or get? Like, what do you want to champion? Is there anything you want to champion out there, guys?
Okay, I watched Damsel that just came out on Netflix last night. So it just got released. It has Our Lady, what's her actual
Millie Bobby
name?
Brown.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, she's in it. It's like a retell. It's like a revenge film, but it's a fairy tale revenge film-ish thing. And I mean, they tell you kind of in like the previews of it, but she gets married off to this rich family, and she they're not very nice, and she's doing this to help her family, who is basically like pretty big in their area, and they need money, so they're basically taking the gold back to feed their village or whatever. And she's a fucking badass in this movie. It completely ended differently than I ever expected. Like, it had definitely a different ending completely, and it was it's like an adventure film kind of, but yeah, it was really good. I liked it a lot better than I expected, so that's what I'm championing this week. And no monster porn.
And everybody just shut off the podcast. They're like, I just need my tentacle recommendations.
Yeah, that's their weekly tentacle porn.
That's why we throw this part. That's why we throw this part all over the episode, so no one knows when. They're like, I just want to know when the tentacles come out.
Yeah, not this week.
What do you got, Tasha?
I've been binging 2 different podcasts that are pretty dissimilar. One is called Even the Royals. It just dropped a couple weeks ago. There are, I think, 9 episodes out. 11 episodes out. And it's just like stories of different like royalty, a lot of queens. The first episodes that caught my attention were Marie Antoinette, and it's her story in 2 parts, which was really cool. So it goes into like the real history, but there's also some like creative license to the storytelling. But they do like deep dives of different royals. So that one's really cool. There's one about like King Ludwig of Bavaria, who was like the artsy king. And I don't know.
We have a board game. It's called, what is it? Mad King Ludwig or something like, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
that's what it is.
It's what is it? But you're architects. You're building castles.
Building castles. He really did that.
That's what it's called. Castles of Mad King Ludwig. That's what it's called. Oh. There's a board game that's built around that you literally auction and you buy bits to like build your castle because you're trying to sell him on it.
That's awesome because that's what he did. He would go around build that's based on true story.
Well, next time you come over, we'll play it.
Yeah, I love that. The other one isn't as exciting. It's called Sounds Like a Cult.
Oh, hell yeah.
No, Tasha and her cult.
no, get this. It's all a lot of it's businesses or like social groups. One of them is like the cult of the PTA or the cult of Lululemon. So it's all of these
or the Catholic Church.
Yes.
That's in there too.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Yeah, of course.
MAGA.
It's anything, any group that isn't like your typical like cult.
Yes.
But it gives you like, you listen to like stories of people. One of them was Amazon and like people who used to work at Amazon, stuff like that. And it gives you this breakdown of, I can't remember, but there are like 3 different levels. Like, you know, watch your back. It's a cult, but like you're okay. You can keep living your life, all the way to like get the fuck out of there.
Well,
and it's really cool.
It's one of those things where it's like when certain things like that start picking up and creating their own language.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's where the problems start, because it's like that's where they start rewiring your brain. And they're like, you know, like, oh no, like we're a family, all that kind of bullshit.
Yep.
So
I was just listening to the cult of Lululemon, and that's exactly what they started talking about, was like different terms that they use and mandatory this and that you have to do.
Well, yeah.
If you're into any type of cult things, that's probably in there. I don't know.
Well, like that whole idea of like we're a family and stuff is so close to a cult, because it's about separating you from your family, so you only listen to the leader. So like that whole the cult of capitalism, all that kind of crazy shit. Mm-hmm.
There's even so much as the cult of pickleball.
Oh, yeah.
It's over everything.
That's cute.
So if you want a good laugh, a lot of them are kind of just like, oh yeah, really? That I do fall into that category, or I never noticed I was so far into XYZ, whatever it is.
That's cute.
So
I forgot that I left my family for pickleball. Yeah. Mine's short and sweet. I've got 2 things. One we kind of touched on. Frank Herbert's Dune. I'm like 16 or so hours into the audiobook. It's like a 21-hour audiobook for the first book. I'm listening to it specifically so I can listen to Dune Messiah, which is the second book, which is what the third film is going to be about. If I'm listening to it on Audible, and it's a large cast, it's not just one person reading it. Like there are specific voices. Like it's a large cast, like probably like 20 people. So it's kind of like listening to an audio drama in a sense.
That's cool.
So it's really engrossing and stuff. It definitely, I'm not diagnosed with ADHD. Steph is very well convinced that I have ADHD.
He does.
So reading to me is a struggle because it doesn't hold my attention, but I'll listen to an audiobook all day long. So I'd always wanted to read Dune, so now I'm doing it because I've watched the first 2 films and I knew that there's more to it. And watching those films doesn't do you any service to like what it is. Like the books are well, I can only say the book. The book's fucking great though. Then I have a music recommendation. If you like a lot of the crazier shit that I mentioned and stuff, there's a band from Chicago. They're called Meth.
Of course.
METH. Their second album came out in early February. I've been looking forward to it and then forgot about it. And I just found out about it just the other day. So I've been listening to it. It's called Shame. It is, this band makes very, very heavy, uncomfortable music. Their albums are very emotive. So like their first album, I can't remember the title of it right off the top of my head. I believe it's like The Mother of White Light or something. And the album is literally about a cult. It's like a concept album about like being sucked into a cult. And I haven't read a lot about the new album or whatever, but they definitely have like these very heavy themes. So like the album cover is like hard red on black, like kind of like a negative looking of like a mother and a father like walking through a field with a child, and then the album is just called Shame. So I'm not 100% sure what the album is about, but it is heavy, it is dark, it's oppressive, it's very emotional though. If you like bands like Daughters or Gaza and stuff like that, like really just kind of atonal, dissonant kind of hardcore metal in that, check it out. It's it's not everyone's cup of tea. I don't listen to a lot of things that are everyone's cup of tea, not on purpose, but that's just the way my brain goes. I like that thing. So, yeah, the band is called Meth with a period after it. Meth period. Yeah, the album's Shame. So it's on my list of my top albums of the year. I always have like a big Spotify playlist that I throw songs on to go through later on in the year to figure out what my top 10 or 20 is for the year. And it's definitely going to be a contender for the year. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's what we're championing. But also, don't forget about homework. Don't you dare fucking forget about your homework. So you can come back and listen to us next week. We're going to be covering Infinity Pool. Tasha's
not Deadpool. Infinity Pool.
No, sorry, Steph.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, Alexander Skarsgård is in the third Deadpool film now.
And it takes a hard left.
Hard left. Just like in August 17th, 1989. For Pod of the Dead, I am Nicholas.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Tasha.
Come back and listen to us, or else.